Diddy and his mom, Janice Combs, were just hit with a new lawsuit. And this lawsuit against Diddy and his mother was filed by the co-founder of Bad Boy Records, Kirk Burrowes. And this lawsuit is alleging that Diddy and Janice Combs were involved in a conspiracy to take over Bad Boy Records and gain 100% ownership from its co-founder. It's not just Janice Combs who's being sued, it's also Diddy, and he's just under James Doe 1 in this lawsuit by Kirk Burrowes. Kirk Burrowes is alleging that defendant Janice Small Combs acted individually and in concert with Kenneth Marsalis and her son Sean Combs, James Doe 1, and lawyer Doe 1, and other unknown co-conspirators. Defendant James Doe 1 is an individual residing in the state of New York. He is a prominent music producer, entrepreneur of Bad Boy Records. And defendant lawyer Doe 1 is an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of New York. He has served as legal counsel to Bad Boy Entertainment and defendant Janice Combs' son, Sean Diddy Combs. Kirk Burrowes co-founded Bad Boy Entertainment alongside defendant Janice Combs and owned a 25% stake in the business. He also served as the Bad Boy Entertainment Chief Operating Officer and General Manager, handling the operational and management responsibilities for Bad Boy. Kirk Burrowes included his general manager business card with his name on it for Bad Boy Entertainment, and he included photos of his artists and his staff at Bad Boy Entertainment. Kirk Burrowes is alleging that Diddy and his lawyer at the time, Kenneth Marsalis, engaged in criminal activities. And back in 2003, Kirk Burrowes actually tried to sue Diddy and Kenneth Marsalis over this criminal conduct that he's alleging in this lawsuit. But unfortunately, it ended up getting dismissed. Now, he is alleging in May of 1996, Diddy and Kenneth Marsalis entered his office, and Diddy wielded a baseball bat and threatened him with physical violence, demanding that he sign over his 25% ownership interest in and to Bad Boy Entertainment. He said that he was fearing for his life with tears streaming down his face, unable to resist under the circumstances, and signed the documents replenishing his 25% ownership interest in Bad Boy Entertainment. During all of this, Janice Combs was absent from the office, and he said her absence was not normal, as it was customary for her to be in the office every day. After Kenneth Marsalis and Diddy's criminal activities, he called Janice Combs seeking guidance and assistance, and she pretended that she was unaware of the situation. He's saying that he recently found out this was all a lie, and he included a picture from that day in the office. He is alleging that Janice Combs later falsely denied the acknowledgement or involvement in the coercion or fraudulent involuntary transfer, despite directly benefiting from the wrongful acts. Kirk Burrowes alleges that his ownership interest was transferred to Janice Combs, resulting in her getting 100% control of the label. He is alleging that Diddy and the lawyer Kenneth Marsalis acted in concert with Janice Combs to orchestrate the fraudulent involuntary transfer of his ownership interest and concealment of material facts to ensure that he remained unaware to the extent of their conspiracy. Kirk Burrowes explains how close of a relationship that he had with Diddy, and he said that their relationship started back in the early 90s. He was so close to Diddy and his family that they had a family-like relationship with one another. He was even the godfather of Diddy's son, Justin Combs. And he included receipts of all of this. He even included photos of him being at Justin Combs' baptism. He even explained how he had a relationship with Diddy's lawyer, Kenneth Marsalis. Kirk Burrowes alleges that he kept being promised equity and property sharing in exchange for his continued dedication to Bad Boy Entertainment. He said that Diddy and Janice Combs assured him that he would receive 25% ownership and a 15% share of all annual profits. But he says that these promises were made in bad faith with no intention of fulfillment. He said in 2001, Diddy allegedly escalated his betrayal and financial sabotage, intentionally interfering with his business relationships and contracts to destroy his ability to generate income. Kirk Burrowes alleges that Diddy deliberately allegedly obstructed his management contract with Mary J Blige, an artist who he rescued from financial collapse due to Diddy's prior mismanagement and fraudulent financial dealings. He alleged that Diddy engaged in fraudulent financial schemes, inflating Mary J Blige's expense accounts by charging unauthorized expenses, fabricated service fees, and luxury purchases under false pretenses. These transactions included charging personal expenses to the artist's accounts, such as designer clothing, private jets, luxury vacations, and unauthorized gifts. He alleges that one of the most egregious examples of this financial fraud that Diddy was involved in was his obsession with Tupac Shakur. He attempted to mimic Tupac's style by purchasing a Versace silk shirt and expensive accessories for himself while falsely expensing these purchases to Mary J Blige's artist account. Kirk Burrowes said, as Mary J Blige's business advisor, he exposed and corrected these fraudulent transactions and renegotiated her contracts and successfully bought her out of the financial ruin. Mary J Blige might just be subpoenaed in this case. He says that he was the architect behind Mary J Blige's resurgence, securing one of her most commercially successful tracks, Family Affair, by negotiating a production deal with Dr. Dre. He alleges as retaliation for his refusal to condone financial misconduct, Diddy and Kenneth Marsalis deliberately orchestrated the termination of his contracts, ensuring that he was completely blacklisted from the music industry. Diddy and his associates interfered with his business deals, intimidated industry executives, and assured that he was excluded from any new opportunities, effectively crippling his career and financial stability. He is alleging that as recently of 2020, Janice Combs contacted him seeking his assistance in creating a historical documentary about the label. He alleges that Janice Combs used his contributions to advance her project, but refused to compensate him or include him in the production, breaching their agreement. During this time, this conversation was just one of many conversations between him and Janice Combs where he questioned her knowledge and involvement with the 1996 stock takeover. As she has done on multiple occasions, at first she initially lied, denying any knowledge or involvement in it. But then he says in 2024, through legal counsel, he discovered that Janice Combs had been lying about her involvement in the forced involuntary transfer of his ownership interest in Bad Boy Entertainment. He is alleging that she is the direct beneficiary over the conspiracy orchestrated by Kenneth Marsalis, Diddy, and others. After Diddy used threats of physical harm and forced him to sign over his 25% shares of Bad Boy Entertainment, Diddy then transferred these to Janice Combs. And what's even crazier, we've even heard people like Gene Deal talk about this, saying that Janice Combs allegedly had 100% ownership of Bad Boy Records when Biggie Smalls passed away. And now you're even going to have people like Mary J Blige possibly being subpoenaed in this lawsuit. This lawsuit is super long. I will add all of it over on my Patreon at KadishaLynn if you're interested in reading through the whole entire thing. But honestly, none of this is looking good for Diddy or his mommy, Janice Combs. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.